Hello, everyone, and welcome to one and only iGebra's YouTube show with me, Akriti. So, today's session is extremely special because we have two data scientists with us. Now, what exactly a data scientist does and how kids can actually become one, we will all answer these questions in our show today. So let's begin with our first data scientist, Miss Alka, who is a dedicated decision scientist at Fractal Analytics, where she seamlessly blends her passion for data and science with a keen understanding of customer needs and business objectives. Beyond her professional expertise, Alka is a loving mother to delightful 6-year-old daughter. She cherishes spending quality time with her little one and also engages in fun activity and creating lasting memories. In her leisure moments, Alka finds joy in pursuing her hobbies of reading as well as cooking. We have another data scientist with us today. We welcome Miss Maheta over here, who is also a data scientist at JLL. And with a profound expertise in data analytics, mining, Python programming, she is not just a professional powerhouse, but she is also an advocate for diversity in technology. She is engaged in communities like Women in Tech, Girls Who Code, and Women Transforming Tech at JLL. Beyond the realms of algorithm, Miss Maheta unwinds through hiking, playing tennis, rifle shooting, global trotting adventures. With such diverse backgrounds, I welcome both of you to our guest and thank you for taking out time for us. So, not wasting any time, I'll just ask you the first question that what exactly a data scientist do? Because we all are curious. We come across this term like almost every day, but what exactly a data scientist does? Can you explain it from a point of view where a grade fifth student can also understand? So, this question is for Alka.
Sure. Thanks for your lovely words, Akriti. To be able to explain data scientist, I would want to draw parallels with the real life, right? So if you break it, it's a scientist who works on data, right? If you look into the real world, we see scientists working on real world stuff, like Thomas Edison invented electricity. So he used real world physical or chemical concepts to come out with something new. A data scientist does the same just in the data world, right? So imagine that you have a plant which has different kinds of features like leaves, roots, shapes of leaves, whether it has thorns or not, what kind of flowers or fruits. And now you are given a random plant and you are asked, what is it? Right? What would you do? As a student, you would look at the shape of the leaves, whether it has a flower or not, and then deduce that maybe it's a rose plant, right? So to do this, in your mind, you compared the sample plant with the characteristics of plants that you knew. A data scientist does the same thing through a software, right? It creates softwares or algorithms so that people can, for example, do image recognition, right? Or they are able to relate the data to a certain pattern.
Okay.
So essentially, you are trying to understand the real world concepts using the data.
Is it something similar to labeling and then identification?
It's that and beyond that, right?
Okay.
So along with labeling and identification, you're also trying to draw patterns and then create something new, right? So when image recognition was not there, someone developed it, right?
Okay.
When chat GPT was not there, someone thought of a conversational AI, right? And developed a framework where you could ask questions and get answers. So
Okay.
it's not just labeling, but getting beyond that and thinking, how can we add value to the real world using these algorithms and different techniques?
Okay. Okay. So yes, I guess I'm sure a fourth grader can understand because I'm also able to understand it. Otherwise, it's just words, right? But thank you for making it so simple, that majority of us can actually now understand what a data scientist does. So, Mahita, my next question is to you that we know now what exactly a data scientist does, not to a large scale, but yes, we know that, in basic terminology, or maybe we can at least now explain this term to, our friend or someone. So, what exactly a data analyst do, and how is he different from a data scientist?
Yeah, so think of data analysis like one step before like data science.
Okay.
So analysis in general, like when you think about that word, it means that you're solving something, or you're trying to find out something or understand something, right? So that is usually analysis. So the same thing we are trying to get with our data. Like nowadays, you think of anything, right? It's all digitized, whether it's your movie tickets, or even devices are also so digitized that we can capture data, how much a user is using, like even with the internet, right?
Hmm.
How much they're using, at what time they're using. So things like these, they're usually in raw data form. And there are data engineers, usually I don't want to involve like another term here, but there are data engineers who capture that data. Now,
Hmm.
using this raw data, what a data analyst does is they clean it, they make it like organize it, so that once they're in a structured format, we can use that to identify any pattern or understand what's exactly happening. Like, for example, think of like having a big basket of toys, right? Like, as a kid, we had our Legos or our Barbie dolls or whatever. And unknowingly we also used to categorize them by height, or by colors or by interest, right? And once you see that, you can say that, oh, okay, I have four colors of cars, and like two sets of Barbie dolls. So these kind of information, when it's all in one box, it's very difficult to tell what is going on. But when you organize it, clean it, and visualize it, um, then it helps in a real world for companies, especially it helps them to understand what is happening with their customers, or what is happening to, like, that particular person, even like their health data also. So I think that is what a data analyst does, and that is what is data analysis. So in a way, contrasting to data science is one step beyond, right? Like you are looking, like Alka was saying, it's about the future, you're predicting.
Correct.
But data analysis is in the past. We are just looking at our historical data and then seeing what is happening. So I think that is the major difference. But also from a skills perspective, I think there's a lot of overlap. There's a lot of interchangeability. And that's what is the best part about data analysis and data scientists. Even in real world, I see a lot of like overlap between the skills, and the titles are also usually like mixed and matched. Um, but yeah, I think that's the main key difference, is the historical data versus like predictions for the newer data and data science.
Correct, correct. So, if I can say this thing in simpler terms, is that data analytics is the study of structured data. You can just have a glance at that data and make predictions for the future.
Right. But also like analysis, like to get to that structured data also, in like in real jobs, data analysts would have to clean it up and transform it and do some pre-processing as well.
It's a long process, right? Making
Yeah.
that data
Mhm.
useful for the companies.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I think now I can actually explain it to someone else that, what a data scientist and an analyst do. So now exactly what we know, the basics of what exactly is both the parties are doing. We would want to know that what is the connection between data and AI, and how it can help children in their growth and understanding of their environment, or maybe whatever they're doing. So we'll ask this question to Alka.
Sure. So I'll go back to my previous example of
Hmm.
plants, right?
Correct.
Now, if you have a software, you must have seen kids, watching this must have seen different kinds of apps where
Hmm.
you click a photo of a plant, upload that into an app, and that app will tell you what kind of plant it is, right? I'm just using the same example, right?
Hmm.
Unless you tell that app beforehand what are the different kinds of plants available
Hmm.
and what different features or characteristics plants have, will that app be able to tell you what kind of plant it is? No, right?
Mm.
If you take a plant to a random 6-month-old child or 1-year-old child, that child will not be able to tell you what it is because that child or that app does not have the required data to be able to tell you anything about that object, right? So for any AI model or for any AI tool to work, you need data. So think of data. So think of AI as a chef who wants to prepare something, and think of data as the ingredients that would go into that, right? If you want to bake a chocolate cake, you are the chef, you are the AI, but you need flour, you need chocolate, all other different materials. So
Right.
without data, AI doesn't function. It depends on AI for everything that it does. Sorry, and the reverse, right? For AI to function, it needs data for everything.
Correct.
So we have heard about ChatGPT, Bard, all these different AI tools recently. For them to be able to answer your questions, they are trained on a variety of different types of data, right? So that they have that knowledge. For example, a teacher teaching in a class has knowledge of the subjects, and that's why they are able to answer your questions. So that knowledge is the data that feeds into AI.
Okay. Okay. Yes, I think
Uh,
chocolate explanation example was really good because a lot of
mhm.
people can actually relate to it. And yes, both of them are interdependent upon each other. So yes, data and AI is the future. And this is how, they can actually help in a child's growth and understanding. Anything else that you would like to add, Alka?
So, how can children actually use this in their, maybe studies or what they want to learn? So, I would recommend, for example, if you're writing an essay,
Hmm.
right? Earlier, you would go to a tutor to be help you refine it. Now you have AI at your disposal. So you
Correct.
can liberally use the different AI tools to help you rephrase it, give you more suggestions, but of course, don't just depend on that because, this is a phase where children need to also develop their own brains to think, right? If you want to learn a foreign language, AI can help. If you want to create, different stories, AI can help you. So I would recommend to depend on AI for the purpose of research, for the purpose of enhancing your imagination. But
Right.
then ultimately it's it's we who are programming the AI, right? So you have to ensure that you take that inspiration, build it on your own, and then produce a result that would be probably more refined than what you would create in the first instance, right? So because we have AI everywhere now, and igebra is doing such a great job and taking it to different schools and different children. So please use this more liberally to be
Hmm.
able to enhance your imagination, but don't copy those answers. I think that's the main thing. So make sure
I
that
think
you
that's
your
that's
own.
a great take on it, and that's a good learning thing for all the parents out there. Let your child explore the app, use it for research, but when it comes to completing down their assignment or creating a project, they should use their own creativity, right? So this is an important lesson. I hope all the parents are listening and tuning into it, that this is what exactly we are supposed to do with all the AI tools. Now, taking this question a little further, as Alka has already said that, AI tools should be used for research, and then, kids can, draw from their creativity, whatever projects that they're working on. So, Mahita, can you, inform our audience about any kind of fun experiment or project that the kids can actually, do at home while using data science?
Yeah, like since we are talking about cake, I was thinking about a project involving ice cream flavors.
Wow.
That's something I think all kids would love, right? And as Alka was saying, for any project, we need data.
Hmm.
So I would say the project would be to find out what's the most popular flavor or something like that, right? So now to get our data, I
Hmm.
would say first go to your all your cousins, friends, aunts, and uncles. Like ask them to write it on a note. Give them a note, asking them to write their name,
Hmm.
maybe even age, and their gender, and then their ice cream flavor. Then collect all these notes, and then, as I said in the before, now we have these bundles of data, right, as form of these post-it notes or something. So now let's organize this. After organizing, like, okay, who, like, which flavor, like all the chocolates into one, all the, I'm sure there's butterscotch or vanilla, strawberry, all the different, just sort it out.
Yes.
And then now using this, you can tell, oh, like, looks, I am guessing that chocolate would probably be the most, like the ones which have the most notes. So
Correct.
using that, you can say, yeah, right, like this is the most popular one. And then now, this is one-time survey, which can be used as a data analysis, right? Where, yeah, we looked at past, and then if we continue to do this over a period of time, like let's say from this year to next year for a whole of 1 year, then that's when we can identify patterns, or like, find out where the differences are and trends are. When I say trends, it's like, what is there any, like, is there anything happening differently at certain point of time? And what I mean is, maybe during summers,
Hmm.
like, we would get more of mango votes
Correct.
instead of like chocolate, right? Because that's available more, it's a summer fruit
Seasonal thing.
and
Yeah.
things like that. And nowadays, like, Western flavors like matcha and tiramisu are also like picking up the trend, right?
Yes.
So maybe why I said, ask them to write their age is because of this. We probably will find out that teenagers and like youngsters, because of our like social media, like
Korean
we are
dramas
usually,
and all. Yeah.
yeah, right? So we are usually aware of these things. So there's high chance that in this this particular age group is liking those flavors, versus elderly, like, people would stick to traditional flavors.
Correct.
So I would say, conceptually, this can be a fun data science project just to understand, right? One is, you're not only analyzing the data, you're also identifying trends. Then now, using these trends, you're trying to make a hypothesis that, okay, in this season it's like this, or in particular age group it's something else. And and then another fun thing, what it could be, is you can go to your nearest local store and ask them their sales report, like ask them, hey, like, can you give me what ice creams have been sold out, and
Hmm.
kind of match it with your answers. Then that way you'll see how relevant your predictions are. Like, you can start, like, making predictions looking at that data as well. So I think this is, conceptually, I think this will be a good fun thing to understand what exactly a data science is. Of course, now there are many skills and tools and like many softwares out there which does this for you very seamlessly. But I think if you want to understand just the concept, this will be a cool one.
I think I myself cannot wait to do this experiment, and I will invite all the guests and ask them to bring their favorite ice cream flavor with them, and
Yeah.
do a quick game with everyone that what exactly is it. I think it's a fun experiment to do. All the children as well as their parents can also participate in it, and I think they will also be able to analyze the trend. As Mahita has already said, that it's very important to mention the age so that you can make out comparisons between different age groups, right? So I guess this is a great experiment, and I would really ask and urge all the parents to take it up with their children. So, my next question is to Alka. Now, Alka, now kids understand, now they have an experiment with them, they can do it, etc., etc. But how kids can actually use graphs and charts in their day-to-day life, and how can exactly these graph and charts help them understand the data around them?
Sure. So I think graphs and charts are something that are the most easily accessible to kids, and it can be a really good starting point, right? I mean, along with the fun experiment that Maita explained, they can use these techniques to even augment the experiment results, right? So let me try to share my screen
Yes.
and then show you a sample data set and some sample graphs quickly that the kids can use, right? So I have created a sample data set where we have students' name, age, different classes, and the scores in different subjects. Okay. And this has been extracted using Google Bard, right? I've not created it myself. So, this could be one of the ways you can just extract random data. Now, looking at this data, you can already draw, some conclusions. For example, the age window is between 12 years to 15 years. There are 4 classes being covered. The scores are within the range of maybe the smallest. You'll have to, look for that. Smallest is probably 13 in history, and the highest would be maybe 95 or something in maths, right? But
Yes.
if you want to do it more easily, you don't want to spend this much time in large amounts of data. So if you want to do it quickly, we can use quick data analysis techniques like Mahita was explaining earlier. In the interest of time, I've drawn some sample views here that I'll try to explain, right? So for example, if the first thing I want to see is what are the different, so which students are faring how in, for example, any particular subject, right? So I've taken one subject here, which I think I've not included the access name, but this seems to be English. So this particular visualization is called different names. Here, I generally call it a tree map. Okay.
Okay.
And in this tree map, the biggest block belongs to the highest number. For example, Dia has scored the highest in English, as you can see here,
Correct.
right? Followed by Priya, followed by Arjun, and so on. This is Priya, and this is Arjun, and so on. And the smallest number, unfortunately, goes to Karan, right? So you can plot, for example, the different ice cream flavors or any data that you're using. Another cool way of, for example, comparing the values in different subjects can be a bar chart or a column chart or a histogram, whatever you want to call it. So you can see we have plotted the different names and every color represents a number, a subject.
Subject.
So you can see that the Rahul is faring the lowest in history, right? Dia needs to improve upon her math skills, whereas she did very good in English, right? But her math skills are lagging behind. And so on for different students, right? So these are more commonly used. A few more that I would recommend that you can explore is, for example, the scatter plot or the bubble chart. You can call it by different names. This is really fun if you want to compare two numerical values, right? So here I've taken the scores of English and maths. And if you want to know which student did the best in both English and maths, you come here, right? So, I mean, I've not included the data labels here, but you can easily do that. And in this case, it's Arjun, right? The second best could be probably this one with 83 and 77, which is Priya.
Priya.
Right.
Yes.
Looking at the data here, you may not be able to immediately deduce, right, that which student is doing how. But if you want to compare maths and English, you know that at least, this particular person who has scored not very well in both the subjects. So Karan is someone who may need more help in terms of both these subjects, right? So in this way, you can easily plot how are different students doing in any two or more combinations.
Right. Yes, sounds very attractive and looks very attractive.
Yeah, and these are very basic charts, right? They can be.
Yeah.
One more thing that is not very commonly used, but it looks really good if presented, is called, for example, a radar chart. So you see on this axis, there are different classes, and I've plotted the values for science. So you can see that class 7 has two values, for example, 90 and 40, right? Class 8 has, again, 70 and 20. So you can see how different classes are doing in terms of marks for this particular subject. So it gives you an understanding.
Highest and lowest, right?
Yes. So there are two rows because it's sample small data, right? So there are two rows for class 7. But you can see that, for example, class 9 is in the higher range and it's doing well in science, right? For example, but other classes generally are across a different range. For example, even in class 10th, you see one student with very good marks, one student with very low marks, and so on. Right? This is sample data. If you work on more data set, a larger data set, it could give you very good insights to understand how different students are performing in different subjects. So this is how, these are some of the very basic charts that I can recommend students to start with. and then explore the worlds of charts to, understand the data. And this is data analysis, right? And when you go a step further and build predictive models using, for example, use simple linear regression and then plot these numbers, and then you take up a random student and then you have to predict, your model will predict what would be the score of that student in English. If that student belongs to class 7, and if that student's age is, for example, 13 years, what would we expect that student's score to be, right? That becomes data science, right? So,
Right.
and then you go one step further into AI and you ask your chat GPT, okay, what do you expect, the score of the student to be? And then chat GPT answers you. That becomes AI.
Okay.
So all of these are linked, and the basis of everything is data, and they just build upon one another.
Great, great. I think that's the transition from data to data scientist and then to AI. I think this is something which is
Mhm.
very fascinating, and how it is moving from all the things are interdependent upon each other and one takes and leads to another. So that was an amazing description. I hope all the kids are fascinated to look at the charts to explore them. And I think it is very important also for their curiosity level as well as for the growth of their mind, right? And because they can actually work, learn, understand the relationship between numbers or maybe whatever content that they're dealing with. So, definitely working with charts is not only fun, but it is good for your development as well. Mahita, not taking too much time and taking it forward, we would want you to inform the viewers about the future of data and AI, especially for kids, and if they wish to take it up in the coming, in their career or maybe in their higher grades, because there are a lot of schools as well as colleges who have offered a particular course on artificial intelligence also. Generally, it's in universities, but I'm sure there would be some optional subjects coming up in schools as well. So, what is your, advice to all the kids?
Well, like I heard a phrase which said, data is a new oil. Because, when oil was invented, like it just disrupted our lives, right? To better. Now we have automobiles, we have so many like manufacturing plants, so like a lot of things right now we cannot even imagine without oil or anything, right? Like crude oil. So that way, when I think about data, we are just at the tip of the iceberg. It has so many benefits, and we are able to advance also in this technology so much now, because of all the research that's going on AI. So I definitely see a significant role and a lot of potential in staying in this field and having career paths in data. It's going to become so common that now what we are talking might see something which is very like normal down the line in a few years. So I would definitely say, like, it will, you are right, now it's at the university level, but I'm sure, even at the school level it's going to become very common, just like how computers have become, right? So common now, we cannot imagine without wi-fi and technology. Our lives are built around wi-fi and internet. So the same way, even AI will take over, and I mean take over in a sense, in a good way. It will definitely enhance our lives. There are many already, like there are many use cases I see, right? Even within companies, I was just talking about decision making. So data driven decision making is very important right now for companies and for us. Now even chatbots, instead of waiting for a customer care and staying on a line, when you're talking to somebody, you have these chatbots. And because of the technological advances in AI, we can immediately get good responses. We have our voice chatbots like Alexa and, like, other things, right? So that way I do see a lot of automation and efficiency, and I think it will only get better.
Yes, definitely. I think it is the future, as you've rightly said. And looking forward to all those courses. And I really feel jealous that why weren't these courses available when we were studying in the school?
Right.
So yeah, feeling really jealous, but it is never too late to start. So I guess all of us are learning in this phase. So thank you, both of you. I just want to extend my gratitude to both of you for gracing our show and making it such a delightful conversation. And I hope a lot of parents and kids will be watching it, because definitely it's going to inspire all of us, whosoever is tuning in. And thank you once again for being the driving force behind the success. And I hope we have a very successful episode. And we also look forward for future collaborations with both of you. So thank you so much. And, I would want you to just say a few words, anything that you would like to, add on to motivate the kids.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Akriti. It was really fun, being a part of the show. And the initiative that igebra is taking, educating all the kids, sharpening young minds, giving them this platform to learn AI at such an early age. This is the age when their imagination can really bloom. So we really appreciate this initiative, and we love to be a part of it, right? uh, a big thank you to igebra for this, and the suggestion to all the students who are looking into getting into AI or technology domains in the future is, please make sure you stick to the basics, have your basics clear for maths or coding and understanding of the world. If you do this, and then if you tune into a little more of data science and AI, I'm sure I see a very bright future for all this entire field in the future. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you so much, Alka.
Yeah, and firstly, like thanks to you, Akriti and igebra, for inviting me and also like hosting this. I also, it's a good brush up for me and hearing other perspectives also, right? So it was great. I had a good time. And yes, what you are doing, what igebra is doing, is really important. Because yeah, this is the future. And as Alka was also saying, math and just the concepts of data science is more important. Like that's what I feel, because tools come and go. Today it's Python, tomorrow it's something else. Like today it's Tableau, tomorrow it's something else. So tools come and go, doesn't matter. Yeah, stick to the foundations, understand like what is happening in the back end. So that's what I would suggest to all the kids. And it's a fun thing, right? It's not, enjoy the process, learn, and yeah, can't wait to see what the future holds for everybody.
Thank you so much, Maheda. And to all my audience out there, I hope you all have enjoyed the session as much as I did. And hope to see you in the next YouTube session. And thank you for always being a fantastic part of a community. Bye bye.